Hey guys, Austafarianist here, and I have a different commentary type thing coming up right now. This is going to be it's like a new series that I want to start on my channel. It's going to be called probably Road to Diamond, which in StarCraft 2, if you don't know, there's lots of different leagues. There's the Bronze League, then there's the Silver, then there's Gold, and then there's Platinum, and then there's Diamond and Masters, Grandmasters. But I'm in Platinum right now, and I really want to get into Diamond, which is going to require a few things from me, which is practice, and that's why I kind of want to cast these, because casting my own games kind of might help me be motivated to get better and do other stuff like that. So right off the bat here we have a PvP, which is Protoss versus Protoss. You know, I guess I could, if someone wants to ask, like, I could explain the game a little. I'm not a pro at all or anything like that. That'd be so fun to get into Masters or something like that, be able to participate in more tournaments. But anyway, this is a mirror matchup, which means that we are the same race, so there's a few things different that we can do. Like usually one can go the more Robo Colossus Bay type tech, or one can go the Templar slash Stalker Blink type thing with Twilight Council and stuff. But you'll see what happens in the game. The meta game, which is basically what people do based on what they assume that the other player is going to go, has kind of been as far as I can tell, this is like my third PvP, and it's gone to Blink Stalkers, which are, you'll see what they are later if you don't know what Blink Stalkers are. So as you can see, our builds, they're very identical. We both have assimilators and gateways and stuff, fairly the same timing. I get my pylon a little earlier, but you know, just not much of a difference between our builds, because this is just the beginning. So, and there's been a lot of 4 gates and stuff in PvP in the past, which that's what I was worried about. In any PvP, that's what I'm always scared about. But they recently did a patch on the ramp, so that you couldn't warp. Like if you put a pylon for your 4 gate, you can't warp onto the ramp, which basically, if you have a sentry, which you'll see in the future also, they can put a force field, it's a spell, so that units cannot go up on the ramp. So that means they can't warp up on the ramp and then start warping up over here, and then their units get all up in your base and shit goes down and you lose. But yeah, basically, so they patched that so the 4-gate isn't as effective, which I haven't been 4-gated at all yet this season, which is kind of nice, except for Tal'Dorei Maltar, which is this big map. I'll probably do a gameplay in this series later. And as you can see, I've gotten the Stalker first, and I chose to use my Chrono Boost on the gateway for a Stalker, so I can kill his probe, so then he won't see whatever tech route I'm taking. And also I'm using it on my Cybercore for warp gate research, which basically turns gateways into warp gates, and you can warp units in. So, and he seems to, I think he's spending it on probes, so he's getting kind of a bigger economy than me. Let's see, units, there we go. Actually, we have the same probe count, but basically the thing is you want to keep making probes, which I probably won't, because you'd think that, never mind, I thought that I'd have more probes by now, but, oh, yeah, here we go. Probe prediction is up, and he's trying to go for an expansion, which, the thing is, in Protoss versus Protoss, it is extremely hard to expand, especially when the enemy goes Blink Stalkers, and you'll see why later. I totally negate his little expansion here, and he's not able to use it at all. Well, he uses it a little, but basically you'll see what happens. And as you can see, we're both going Robotech. So basically for Blink Stalkers, what I like to do is I put down another gateway, and then I just kind of get Stalkers out. Normally 2 Stalkers and then a Sentry, because Sentry's scared of that warp gate research, you know, or 4 warp gate all in by the other Protoss, which you can easily scout. And I saw that he wasn't using all his Chrono Boosts on his gateway, or his Cybercore, which means that he's not going to have out a super fast warp gate, which he obviously isn't, because he's going for the really fast expansion. So he's kind of building up his economy, so he'll have a better economy. But I'm going a larger tech route, so that means I'll be able to attack with a more high-tech army. And I normally get out on an Immortal early, just in case someone is doing the warp get all in. Then you could block off, and you have your Immortals, which totally tear apart these units, which are Stalkers, because they are armored, I believe. Yeah, they have 1 armor, And Immortals, let's see, I'll get their stats up. Immortals, they do 50 damage versus armored, 20 to regular, but man, armored they smash stalkers in the face. So yeah, my Twilight Council is almost ready, and we're both getting observers. So, observers are a cloaked unit, and I think a probe died right there if I'm right. Yeah, he's got his units out here, so he could have been faking a warp gate, 4 warp gate all in because he has his units out, his early units. That indicates that they're putting on pressure so they can put their pylons up by your base and get all up in your base and kill you. But he was just kind of feigning it, and he's trying to hold map control in the center. I have my probe down here, and I was going to check to see what's going on, and I do notice the expansion. His stalker kills my little scout though. But regardless, now I know what's going on, so I'm like, huh. Because I'm always, since I don't play that often, I'm thinking, man, we're going off one base, is that going to work? So he's trying to tech up so he gets Colossus, and I'm teching to Blink Stalkers, and I'm getting 4 warp gates so that I don't have to keep producing off of my robotics bay. Because if I only had like 2 gates, then I wouldn't be able to get very many stalkers, which I'm using to utilize this blink, so I can put on pressure and such. And I see the observer. Unfortunately, I can't snipe his observer, and he snipes mine because they're both detectors. But I catch his zealot and stalker off guard. I don't manage to snipe off the stalker, but I do manage to get the zealot. And my blink is getting really close. Unfortunately, I have to get another observer because he sniped mine. But everything is going okay because even though he has his expansion, I'll be able to mess around with him with my stalkers. And unfortunately, I forgot my proxy pylon. I need to start learning to get that earlier, and I accidentally sent 2 probes. But yeah, I'm a little rusty, so I gotta kind of sharpen up, put down pylons earlier. And as you can see, my hotkeys. Oh, his Colossus gets stuck. That's too bad. Probably powers down something. Let's see, radius. Yeah, he powers down his gateway and his robo. So I'm sitting outside, I have my blink done, and I'm warping in more stalkers, once again down at my main, because I don't have my proxy set up, because I'm not smart like that. But, as you can see down here, right here, my hotkeys, I have all of my stalkers set to 2, as well as my observer. That's so I can do easy harassment, and I have the rest of my army set to 1, which is only these 3 guys, with the stalkers. So here's how you can easily harass someone on 2 base. So his army isn't all down here, and I instantly blink up, and I can snipe his tech. So as you can see, he almost has thermal lance, which increases this guy's range to 9, which means he'll be able to shoot really far. So bam, just blink out. And I think the best choice for this guy would have been to create another observer so he could snipe mine and take everything out. Oh, looks like he was thinking of getting a warp prism. That would have been actually really smart. Then he could kill stuff over in my base, but instead he's getting the Immortals out, because like I said earlier, Immortals are really good versus Stalkers. But the thing is, Stalkers with Blink, they are so mobile. Like here I try to poke in and kill his expansion, but we kind of dance around, and I go, huh. It's like I'm trying to dance to get his army out of position so I can blink up here, and then I can take out even more tech. As you can see, I did that right here. It's like a little trick that I remember when watching a stream, and I snipe his Immortal. Immortals are really good because they have this shield, just like, let me see, that reduces any incoming damage. Oh, here it is. Any incoming damage to a maximum of 10. So that means if someone does like 20 damage, let's see, the Stalker, they do 14 damage, but it only does 10 per an attack because the Immortals have their cool shield, but it doesn't really matter as much when there's a bunch of Stalkers shooting at him. So I blink up, and I try to snipe the Colossus, but he micros it back, and miss micro here, 2 Stalkers derping in. But I managed to snipe a pylon, I believe? Yeah. And then I'm trying to snipe other pylons to unpower these gateways and stuff. Too bad he hasn't turned that into a warp gate. But yeah, as you can see in the production tab, I'm warping him. He's warping in more pylons because he's got his unpowered buildings, and he's going double robo. This is actually a good idea for him, because I have so many armored units, sorry. And so going double immortal production off, well, he is on 2 base right now, but here I am pressuring him a lot because I have my force fields. So since I sniped his Colossus, he can't use that massive unit to break down the force field, so I'm kind of just smashing his army around, staying out of range, while his Stalkers cannot get down because he doesn't have Blink, which he's trying to go for right now, so he can keep up with my army. But I'm keeping on the pressure, and I snipe his expansion, so it's totally useless now. And his little probes are over here. I could have gotten those, but I do not manage to kill them off. So he's trying to build back up his army, and I'm just getting more stalkers and more stalkers. So eventually you get this critical mass of stalkers, and you can just destroy anything once I little blink up on his ledge and snipe stuff. Unfortunately, his Robo has a really bad rally right now. This has happened to me countless times. Try to do some cute play here by force fielding stalkers and blinking over, so you get the damaged ones in the back, and they live longer. Although my micro is not up to par, so I'm not saving as many as I would have liked to. But yeah, this little rally, his unit gets stuck and he can't get it out, and it's kind of annoying having that useless unit sitting there. Sorry, kinda just played a bunch in the snow today, had a good day. And I'm warping in Zealots now because I know he doesn't have any Colossus production because I sniped his robotics bay. So Mortals there pretty bad versus Zealots. Everything else here he's pretty good against. But Zealots there not an armored unit, so that means that the Immortal only does 20 damage as opposed to, what, 50? Yeah. And I sent in my Observer. Once again, if he had this Observer much earlier, he could have prevented my sniping of anything. His base, his robo stuff, try to kill those probes there. He could have prevented it all easily. But unfortunately, he didn't have his Observer out. So kids, get your Observers. That way you can kill whatever the hell you want. And I know not to engage this force, because the thing about Blink Stalkers is that you can't directly engage a big robotics heavy army, but you can do stuff like I did earlier where you just kind of blink up and you can just snipe everything like I did here. And I get pretty lucky here. He hasn't focused on my Observer at all, so let's see, where is it? I'm kind of blinking back, microing, and then I finally notice his Observer, and I snipe it. There it is, I snipe it. So, and then, as you can see out from his vision, the Observer's just a little blur. So my Observer makes it out alive, and I have my Blink Stalker army back. And at this point, I bring back my regular army because I realize that I can't really engage him in a straight-up battle. I send my stalkers up north so that I can tell when he's out of position and I can go back and destroy his base again. Because that's what you do when you have a Blink Stalker army. Use it for harassment, not really direct engagements unless it's Blink Stalker on Blink Stalker. Otherwise you can, if you have good micro, you can just bam, all the weak ones down. And here I see that I catch these guys kind of out of position. As you can see from my vision, I'm like, oh, wow. I can infer that he's going to attack because all his units are rallied over that direction. So I go, oh, let's blink in, do some more damage. And this kind of just shows how you can totally abuse the power. And he blinks up too, except my stalkers, I have like a critical amount, much more than him. He only has 3 versus all these. And he has a few in his army over here, and he tries to warp more in over here. But that's not going to work, because the damage has been done. Like, if he got his Immortals up here, like, let's say Immortals had Blink, which that would be kind of ridiculous and OP, but if they did, he would be able to snipe every single stalker, and the army would be reduced to nothing. And he GG's out, but with good reason, because I'm warping in Zealots, and I've already started expanding, because I know that minerals are getting low, and his are also very low, and he's so oversaturated. Yeah, this has been my first Road to Diamond series. I'll probably end up doing some of these live, and I'll probably end up doing some of them casted like this, because I want to learn to cast. StarCraft community is extremely awesome. Gotta love them all, especially Twitch TV streaming. That might be in my future, if I actually get good at the game. But yeah, until then, ta-ta for now, bros.